Howdy folks, Timber Drifter here, smoking an imperfect though serviceable cob. So I'm on my job site here and I was pressure washing and cleaning off, stripping stain from docks and decks, and it has become too windy, even for pressure washing. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's actually rocking the vehicle a little bit. Of course, as soon as I say that, the wind almost completely stopped. But I decided to quit fighting it and know when to quit. And just sit in the vehicle and have a smoke, and maybe things will calm down out there a bit. And I can get back to work. I've got a lot of cob pipes, not by some standards, but I don't know, I've probably got 11 or 12 of them. And I wanted one of these for a long time. I think it's called a Country Gentleman. And so when I was in Pennsylvania recently, I picked this one up at Cigars International. And right from the beginning, it didn't smoke well. I've only had one other cob that didn't smoke well, enough for me to not smoke it at all ever. But since I'd wanted one of these for so long because I really like that shape and size, I decided to see if I could improve this one. The problems that it had, number one, it started burning out right away. And it was just burning out all the soft material in there, and it started going, as you can see, the bowl's actually kind of shaped oddly. But instead of burning straight down, it started burning sideways like this. It was hollowing out this side of the chamber. And that was noticeable at about maybe 5 smokes in. So I started reaming out the char, trying to start over with a fresh, hard cob surface. And that didn't help anything. So I tried an old trick I haven't used in many years. I cleaned it out thoroughly and swabbed the inside of the bowl with a bit of honey. And that worked for a while. It started to actually build a cake. But it still wasn't smoking well. It smoked pretty well down to about right there. The top third, maybe. And I had this other cob, a General, that I'd picked up that I really liked, and I was smoking the hell out of that. And I lost that pipe, which I'll explain in my next video. And so I was even further dissatisfied with this pipe because I had lost one that was really good smoker and that I'd really been enjoying. So I took a deep look at this pipe to figure out why it smoked so poorly and why it was burning out. And I thought I might destroy the pipe in the process, but it's worth a try. So I reamed it all out again, and as you can probably see, it's kind of all the hard sections of the cob show up, and all the spaces in between are there. It's not perfectly round inside. It's sort of octagonal, actually. but I started picking in there with the tip of a pocket knife, and I realized that where the shank comes in, the drilling was off. It was tilted sideways with the draw hole pointed more toward this side of the pipe. And the drilling of I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up, but the drilling of the shank is actually off completely in relation to the tobacco chamber. So I just dug everything out of there. I dug all the char off. I dug down to the bottom of the hardwood plug. And I realized that where the shank comes in here, it was actually sitting quite a bit above the floor of the pipe, as well as being turned so that it was drawing more on this side of the bowl. So what I did was I took a 1/4-inch gouge and I removed the part of this that goes into the bowl. And then I dug out all the way around the bottom of it and cleaned it up. And I have a hastily prepared sketch of what it looked like before and what it looks like now. That's how it was originally. That's the hardwood. Where's my finger? That's the hardwood plug where it comes into the bottom of the bowl. That's the shank where it enters the tobacco chamber. So I took a 1/4-inch gouge and gouged that all off so it was clean. And then I cleaned out all the glue and all that junk in the bottom and filled it with pipe mud made from cigar ash and brought it up to the level of the draft hole. And once again, it was back down to bare cob. So I enlarged the chamber on this side to match this side, kind of evened it all out with a reamer and a pocket knife. Now it smokes pretty well. I don't generally expect much quality of workmanship in a cob. Sometimes you get a really nice one that's just put together perfectly, like this one here. It smokes wonderfully from the first smoke to the 100th probably that it's on now. It's drilled properly. It's got a nice even thickness. It smokes really well. This one was just a junker to begin with. And that's okay. They're cheap. Less than $10. Many people consider them to be throwaway pipes. But I've got several cobs that I've been smoking for 10 years or more. And they're not burnt out, and they give a good smoke every time, unless I've been smoking some really goopy stuff in them, and then they need to dry out for a bit. So if I ever come across another pipe that's this bad, I think I'll try the same operation on it. Try to improve something that by nature is imperfect. As you can see, it smokes like a chimney now. And what I'm smoking, I'm not really sure what it is. I started using these kind of jars somewhere in the area of 2007. I remember I found a bunch of them on sale at Walmart, and I couldn't find the jars that I had been using. I prefer a wider jar so that you can just hold the pipe over the top and fill it from the jar without spilling pieces everywhere. But I couldn't find those jars, and I found a bunch of these really cheap. And this one was misplaced for quite a few years. One of my moves years ago, I just threw a whole bunch of random stuff in a tote, and I didn't go through it for a long time. And it's been kind of surprising, some of the things I've found, but this tastes like a Dunhill blend, and I think it might be early morning pipe. Anyway, it's a great smoke. It's always fun finding a random partial jar of tobacco that you don't know what it is. And in my experience, typically that's not a good thing. It usually isn't something I want to smoke. This is really good. In fact, I'm almost certain that it's early morning pipe. So, if you have a really trashy cob that's just not smoking well, and you feel like tinkering with it, take a look at it. You might be able to improve it. All right, take care, folks.